More Twitter files showing Twitter like the glove and the FBI as the hand in the glove. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. Matt Taibbi, on Friday, December the 16th, released a thread detailing the partnership between Twitter and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Last night, he released another thread saying more about that partnership. Before I share this with you, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views. Link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. You will find lots of great merchandise there, especially this t-shirt that I have chosen for today, which quotes Ronald Reagan, saying, "If fascism ever comes to America, it will come in the name of liberalism." We are seeing that with the release of these files. We also see from the reaction that came in last night that the FBI doesn't have to look very far to find its snitches. One more thing. If you like what you're about to hear, or at least you can appreciate it, you can like this video. You can also click the bell icon to get a notice every time I come out with a new one. In fact, you see that little icon, the heart shape with the US dollar sign in it? That's the super thanks icon. If you really want to keep these videos coming, click that and leave me a tip. Any currency will do, so long as it's legal tender. As ever, I'm leaving links in the description to every other tweet in the thread. Not so many this time. 7 in all, beginning with the 2nd and going to the 14th. And here is the text as a complete essay. Quote, thread, Twitter files supplemental. In July of 2020, San Francisco FBI agent Elvis Chan tells Twitter executive Yoel Roth to expect written questions from the Foreign Intelligence Task Force, or FITF, the interagency group that deals with cyber threats. The questionnaire authors seem displeased with Twitter for implying in a July 20th DHS ODNI FBI industry briefing that you indicated that you had not observed much recent activity from official propaganda actors on your platform, unquote Matt Taibbi, who was quoting Agent Elvis Chan at the time. In fact, that questionnaire reads like a written interrogatory that a hostile attorney might send to opposing party. Back to Matt Taibbi. Quote, one would think that would be good news. The agencies seem to feel otherwise. Chan underscored this. Quote, there was quite a bit of discussion within the USIC to get clarification from your company, he wrote, referring to the United States intelligence community. The task force demanded to know how Twitter came to its unpopular conclusion. Oddly, it included a bibliography of public sources, including a Wall Street Journal article attesting to the prevalence of foreign threats, as if to show Twitter they got it wrong. Roth, receiving the questions, circulated them with other company executives and complained that he was frankly perplexed by the requests here, which seemed more like something we'd get from a congressional committee than the Bureau. He added that he was not comfortable with the Bureau and, by extension, the IC, demanding written answers. The idea of the FBI acting as a conduit for the intelligence community is interesting, given that many agencies are barred from domestic operations. He then sent another note internally, saying the premise of the questions was flawed because we've been clear that official state propaganda is definitely a thing on Twitter. Emphasis, Roth's. Roth suggested that they get on the phone with Elvis ASAP and try to straighten this out, to disabuse the agencies of any notion that state propaganda is not a thing on Twitter. This exchange is odd, among other things, because some of the bibliography materials cited by the FITF are sourced to intelligence officials who in turn cited the public sources. The FBI responded to Friday's report by saying it regularly engages with private sector entities to provide information specific to identified foreign malign influence actors, subversive, undeclared, covert, or criminal activities. That may be true, but we haven't seen that in the documents to date. Instead, we've mostly seen requests for moderation involving low follower accounts belonging to ordinary Americans and actor Billy Baldwin. Watch Barry Weiss and Mike Schellenberger for more from the Twitter files. Unquote Matt Taibbi, who suddenly sounds a lot like the voiceover narrator from a children's cartoon show from the middle 60s saying, "Don't miss our next exciting episode." And by the way, this might or might not be a hint. The last tweet embeds an article by a blogger named Alex Bilzarian titled "A Case for Regulation in the Art Market." I've left a link in the description. Is that really the subject of the next Twitter files, or is it a blind? I'll let you know as soon as I know. Now, I'm going to start analyzing and reporting on reaction. Before I begin, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is oursilverlines.com. Do you feel like you're working harder for your money just to get by? You are not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, and unexpected changes in life have left many families struggling over the past few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines helps by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. Whether you just want to collect rare and unique coins or take advantage of the business opportunities this company provides, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit oursilverlines.com to learn how you can build a legacy for your future. As you can see, as you've just seen, Twitter received a demand that they get with the program. Taibbi correctly points out that the demands for explanation and compliance comes not merely from the FBI. The FBI is a conduit for the intelligence community, many member agencies of which are not supposed to run domestic operations. In fact, the deep state has just reared its ugly head. We see here a scene out of a movie in which a high-ranking villain threatens someone who questions what said villain is asking. And then that someone says, yes, sir, anything you say, sir." Is this really the FBI? Or is it rather a combination of the Stasi and the Volkspolizei in East Germany during the Cold War? Or the Gestapo and the Schutzstaffel during the Second World War? Don't say it! Don't quote Godwin's law at me. Not when we have American intelligence and law enforcement agencies behaving like National Socialists or International Socialists, i.e. communist enforcement arms. The reaction to this file is shocking. Apologists for the FBI and the U.S. intelligence community, including 2 U.S. representatives, both Democrats, have taken a sharp and imperious tone. In fact, that tone has made Matt Taibbi terrifically angry. For example, Representative Ted Lieu of the 23rd District of California scornfully sums up the thread, "Twitter disagreed with the FBI." Taibbi sharply reminds him that Twitter then hastened to say that they agreed with the FBI, and then observes that reading comprehension skills are not a prerequisite for public office. Zounds! Don't just take my word. I've left a link in the description to Matt Taibbi's tweet. And next to his tweet saying how odd it is that anyone, especially a member of Congress, should take this as a partisan story. Taibbi reminds Representative Liu that this behavior has taken place and grown under both Republican and Democratic administrations, which, of course, is the very definition of the deep state. They see administrations come and go. Another user accuses Taibbi of context dropping and Soviet propaganda technique. I mean, if this user is even capable of appreciating the irony, she, at least I presume it's a she, gives no sign. Taibbi gives her the context. January 8, 2021, shortly before Twitter banned Donald Trump by fiat. Link in the description again. At 4:36 p.m. Pacific Time, Taibbi tweets out a graphic labeled "Starting to Hear from Partners." I have a link in the description yet again. The graphic references a Schiff, presumably Representative Adam Schiff of the 28th District of California. He happens to be the outgoing chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and he also serves on the January 6th committee. This same Adam Schiff actually says that relaxed moderation is a problem. I have a link to a breaking 911 tweet that has him on video and even provides a brief transcript of his remarks along that line. Yet another user asks whether the FBI had grounds for looking at social media posts. Taibbi reminds him that this time the FBI had no such grounds. In fact, he says that the country once had a standard that the FBI needed at least some reason to suspect that a crime had happened. Now it can pre-assess at will with no chargeable crime in sight. I have a link to that in the description also. And furthermore, if anyone out there is copacetic with that, I challenge you to leave me a comment or mention me on Twitter. Needless to say, I am not copacetic with it. Matt sums up his thread like this. Twitter did more than accept moderation requests from government, which is bad enough. They made rapid attitude adjustments. That's what I mean by yes sir, anything you say, sir. I have a link in the description to this last reaction by him. If the Twitter files story is a partisan story, then the Democratic Party made it partisan. Partisan like the Socialist Unity Party of East Germany or the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Furthermore, it ill befits any member of Congress to apologize for such behavior as we have seen, meaning to defend it, or to help such a member remain in office as Republicans did in midterms. I've learned to expect no better of Democrats, particularly California Democrats, with one possible exception. Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat from California's 17th District. He at least pays lip service, maybe a little more than that, to freedom of speech. No other Democrat does. But I expect better of Republicans. And thus far, no Republican, except Donald Trump and possibly Kari Lake, has said a word about this disgraceful era. And that is final shame to American pride. Link in the description of the article, to the thread, to Alex Bilzarian's article, however relevant that might be, to 7 tweets giving reactions and answers to reactions, to my Declarations of Truth Twitter account, and to Conservative News and Views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and to oursilverlines.com, as I also mentioned. You know already about how to like a video, turn on notifications, and leave a tip. On the end screen, I'm going to leave a subscribe link to my channel and a link to my Twitter Files playlist, to the Quarterings live stream, and to my State Actor video. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.